The holiday season rolls in like a familiar song on an old radio, one of those tunes that your soul recognizes even before your mind registers the melody. And all of us are saying, no, it's not time yet, but like it or not, it's here. The lights, the memories, and during this time, I get nostalgic and I keep circling back to this story that is tucked inside the Gospel of Luke. It's about 10 people that were pushed to the margins, standing at the edge of society and hoping that Jesus might notice them. Hello, friends. I'm Scott Lloyd, scholar of race, religion, culture, and communication, and author of the book, The God I Was Given, Looking for Faith After Losing My Religion. When I return to that story, it's amazing that those 10 lepers who cry out for their healing are restored. And then they walk away with new bodies, new futures, new possibilities. But only one of them, according to the story, turns back to say, thank you. One returns with the kind of gratitude that feels like a light switching on inside a person. And what has always struck me is not the miracle, but the math. Healing for 10, gratitude from 1. The ratio feels uncomfortably familiar in the world that we live in right now. We are swimming in blessings that we rarely acknowledge, surrounded by people whose dignity we barely notice. Living in a time where empathy seems to be eroding like sand under rushing water. Somewhere along the way, gratitude got downgraded to a seasonal performance instead of a daily posture. The lepers weren't just sick in their bodies, they were exiles in their own neighborhood. They were pushed out, stepped around, kept unseen. They lived in a society that had already decided their worth. And that is where the story feels less like an ancient tale and more like an indictment of our present culture. Because we still banish people, push the poor to the edges and call it inevitable. We ignore the cries of the mentally ill and call it sad. We step over unhoused neighbors and call it normal. We shrug at the suffering of children at our borders. We scroll past communities devastated by violence, poverty, and environmental collapse. We turn away from injustice because looking would demand something from us. Jesus did not heal the lepers from a distance. He stepped toward them. That proximity mattered. Healing begins with seeing. Restoration begins with crossing the line that the world draws.